Read bits. What's a subtle sign someone is rich but hiding it? They can complain about costs, but it never stops them from necessary work or updating things. If you pay attention, you can notice who actually is stopped by barriers to purchasing things or buying services, or who can just get them at any cost but still complains like everyone else. That's my buddy's father-in-law. Stupid rich, but every job he gets an estimate on, he botches about. Same guy that rents out a pro hockey arena every year for a Christmas party. This is how some people get rich. Everything is a negotiation and costs too much. Of course, then some people won't like you. Dean Kamen used to come into a Radio Shack my buddy worked at years ago and bitch about the price of a $5 battery. Used to work for Mercedes and Audi. The people who buy 150K cars outright are the ones that come in wearing almost scruffy clothes. The people who come in wearing suits or chinos and sunglasses and Rolexes, they're not buying anything expensive. The wildest was a woman who looked like she probably worked in a supermarket. Her husband looked the same. Not a hint of expensive about them, until she thought it was wild that we gave away free coffee and muffins because that must cost the business like 10 to 15 to customer, and that all adds up. They just literally had no idea what things cost or how cheap you can get things. They walked out with a brand new S350 Cabriolet with most of the optional extras, I think about 180K, and didn't even test drive it. And she got me a bottle of the perfume I was wearing as a thanks. She knew exactly what perfume you were wearing, and I'll bet my vast fortune that she didn't ask what it was. Nah, she did ask. But I was touched she remembered. You owe me all your money. Friend did an internship with a German bank in Singapore that, also among other services, also sets up local trust funds for customers. German guy with an appointment comes in looking like the type that spent the last 2 years backpacking through half of SC Asia and taking every drug that he could get his hands on. At least his outfit and his hair beard look like it. But clear skin and clear eyes from what I was told. Ended up moving about 80 million euro from his accounts in Switzerland to his new local trust fund. You read that number, right? Nice teeth and nice shoes, they also don't talk about money. I've cooked for a lot of rich people. There's a big difference between people that grew up rich, born into money, versus the people that made something for themselves. Both are generally not going to be overly flashy if they're actually rich. People that are born into money usually don't realize that most of the world is struggling, so they'll talk about their multiple homes, travel, and other expensive experiences like it's normal conversation, and like you should be able to relate because they bought the interesting things about them. Most likely, they grew up sheltered and detached from reality. I've noticed these people are pretty social awkward and don't have a lot of genuine friends in their lives, so they'll be really tight with their immediate family. They'll have some flashy things, but it'll be stupid expenses. A dumb sculpture, spending ridiculous amounts of money on their dog, a drug addiction, etc. The people that earn their money are usually aware of the difference between them and most of the world. They can even still hold on to frugal tendencies, so it'll be more subtle clues. Jewelry on a woman, look at their ring. Name brand designer clothes. Bag sunglasses, how their hair, teeth, skin look perfect. What kind of car they drive. They'll usually have at least a couple nice things, but overall look very kept and clean. The biggest thing you'll notice with this group is that they'll usually be very giving to average people. Old clothes, extra food, something they'll never use, they'll all go to you, which is awesome. This group is the best of the two. Do rich people ever ask you to just make them a grilled cheese? Do they ever get a hankering for a Kraft mac and cheese or something? Having worked around someone worth 8 figures in an old job, this is a resounding yes. They also send people to make/buy said items for them. The lack of fucks given. This has been my observation too. There's a lightness that people with money carry themselves with. I can't explain it, but definitely know it when I see it. It's them knowing that no matter what they do, things will generally pan out in their favor. Life is lighter when you can make decisions and take risk without life-altering consequences around every corner. Life would be so carefree, not being one bout of bad luck away from financial ruin. Can confirm. Went from making 15 HR in the kitchen 5 years ago to making 150K in tech. There's a deep calmness in me knowing that I'm not one financial burden away from homelessness. You can never really tell. There are fancy people that are rich, and there are people that try to be fancy living in debt. There are people that look like crap that are filthy rich, and there are people that look like crap that are poor. Some rich people are humble and others are assholes. You can never really tell unless you have access to their bank accounts. I think it's funny when I read some of these comments, like there's a formula to uncovering who's rich and who isn't. There's not. Had to scroll stupid far to find the real answer. Everyone wants to hear the same old real rich people don't wear designer brands and aren't flashy about it. Except I can point you to multiple examples of individuals with verifiable obscene wealth that also have bad taste and are flashy assholes about their wealth. I mean, look at the President of the United States. He is disputable a billionaire, but is undoubtedly disgustingly filthy rich and also has shitty, gaudy, flashy taste. In other words, agreed, you never know. As someone who many would consider rich, one of the things I notice how to tell the difference between true rich people is they pay for convenience no matter what. I prefer spending money on life experiences, and you really see the difference in what true money is. While I may upgrade this or upgrade that, it's nowhere close to people that always have butlers on their travels or pay for early access anything to save time and energy. You learn to spot those differences, and many times, as already noted, they aren't advertising any big name brands on clothing, purses, and even look plain but clean. Much more subtle. A $300,000 Patek Philippe watch, for example. I've gone from quite poor at birth to pretty well off, but not rich. Paying for convenience is still something I find a hard time doing. I'm starting to get there at least some of the time, but it's hard for me to justify paying an extra $5 a day to have a closer spot at the airport parking, for instance. Thinking of a male here, but simple appearance that doesn't stand out in a crowd. Clothes are well kept, not folded, but hung in nicer fabrics. Has a watch, clean shoes, and appears confident. Stands up straight, shoulders back, and has a nice smirk or subtle smile. My best friend's parents make $750,000 combined annually. They still think they're not rich because they know others who clear $2 million a year. People will always compare upwards, not downwards. If you make $30,000 a year, you will look at the guy making $70,000 a year. If your household clears $750,000, you look at the household who clears $2 million. Comfortable equals rich in my book. Income doesn't make you rich. Savings and assets do. I have met people who make $300,000 a year and regularly have money issues. When you're not born rich, you accumulate wealth by keeping your expenses lower than your income. A lot of people are incapable of doing that. Every increase in income is followed by lifestyle improvements. Any decrease is a disaster. And that's it. Thank you for watching. What do you think is an imperceptible sign that someone is rich? Write in the comments.